It's your WinoBee here, and I'm reporting live from my very own kitchen. This is a place where a lot of my own personal magic happens. I cook here, I drink here, I cook and drink here, but I've never actually showed you how I drink while I cook. So today we're kicking off some fun new content that's all about cooking with wine, and I'm sure you're going to love it just as much as I do. So having wrapped my birthday brunch this weekend, needless to say, we had a bunch of mimosas flowing, and I have some leftover champagne. So I've decided to use the remainder to whip up my very own fun recipe that I actually saw at a restaurant not long ago, and it's a version of Veuve Clicquot Risotto. It's quite delicious. I'm hoping I can pull it off myself, but you know, the risotto is one of the perfect options for winter months. It's snowing outside right now, so I figured I'd come home and try to make something that's hearty and warm and perfect for the winter season. I think you're going to love it. So what exactly are you going to need to whip up the Veuve Clicquot risotto? Well, that's simple. First, you're going to have to start with about 4 cups of chicken broth. For vegetarians, you can also use a vegetable broth. That works just as well. 2 tablespoons of butter. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. 1 small to medium onion. A cup to a cup and a half of arborio rice, a half a cup of Veuve Clicquot, or you can use any other type of champagne or white wine if you don't have it around, a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and freshly ground salt and pepper. And because I'm Italian, I have to stick in tons of garlic. And one of the great things too is you can add any types of vegetables to the top, which I'll actually show you at the end. So the first thing you can see we're doing is actually putting the chicken or the vegetable broth into a saucepan. It's all 4 cups of chicken broth, and you're just going to let it come to, you know, a light simmer. And then within a deep skillet, you're going to take your melted butter and olive oil over a medium to a medium-high heat. Add onions and saute for about 3 minutes before adding your arborio rice, which is what we just did. And then you're going to saute for about 2 minutes more before you add your champagne or white wine. So now comes the point where you're going to add your champagne or white wine. Basically, you're going to throw it in after the arborio is cooked and sauteed for about 2 minutes, and then you're going to let the wine cook away. In the meantime, I like to pull different kinds of vegetables, just looking at what I had in my fridge. I'm actually going to whip up some eggplant and tomatoes. I have some leftover Brussels sprouts and some cremini mushrooms. So I'm going to make this a nice eclectic vegetable risotto on top of the Veuve Clicquot. So let's go ahead and take our half a cup of champagne and throw it in. Oh, I love that sizzle noise. You're going to go ahead and you're going to saute it for about another 1 to 2 minutes, just until it all cooks away. Here's a great tip about risotto. You don't necessarily, I think it's just a rumor that you have to stir it the entire time. As long as you're stirring consistently, you don't really need to slave over the stove and consistently stir it like this for 30-some minutes. It's just a kind of a waste of time and builds up your arm muscles too much. So now you can see that our champagne has fully absorbed. So at this point, we're going to start adding the chicken broth a few ladles at a time just over the next 18 minutes, stirring it into the rice each time the liquid's absorbed. Again, you don't have to stand over it the entire time, but just make sure you are consistently stirring it up. So we're going to go ahead and throw in a couple ladles of chicken broth. Listen to that beautiful sizzle again. And we'll check back in a few. So here we are with the final product. Doesn't it look amazing? Yummers! I basically added a couple of vegetables I had during the last pour before the last bit of chicken broth that we had to ladle in. I personally added some cremini mushrooms and tomatoes. I actually have some eggplant in the oven that I'm going to garnish it with as well. But let's take a look at the final product. I'm pretty jazzed. Beautiful! I love like when things are colored. I think it's meals are even better when they're colored and they make it more delicious. And oh, look, we had some more champagne left over. So bon appetito. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe.